The ghost dance movement was a powerful spiritual revival that emerged among Native American tribes in the western United States during the late 19th century. Its origins trace back to 1869 among the Paiute people, when a respected elder and medicine man named Wajawab experienced a series of profound visions. In his early prophecies, Wajawab foresaw a cataclysm that would rid the land of settlers, leaving only Native Americans to reclaim their ancestral way of life. As his visions evolved, they came to predict a more peaceful future, where a harmonious coexistence and spiritual revival would bring immortality to those who embrace their traditional beliefs. Central to this movement was a ritual dance, performed in a circle, that became known as the ghost dance. Wajawab passed away in 1872, but on January 1, 1889, another vision ignited a new wave of spiritual fervor. A Paiute man named Vovoka, also known as Jack Wilson, had a transformative dream during a solar eclipse. In his vision, he died, ascended to heaven, spoke with God, and received instructions to teach the ghost dance to his people. His prophecy shared striking similarities to Wajawab's earlier visions. He foresaw settlers disappearing, the buffalo returning, and the land being restored to Native Americans. Moreover, Vovoka's teachings emphasized a peaceful relationship with settlers, a significant departure from any calls for violence. Word of Vovoka's message quickly spread beyond the Paiute community. Representatives from numerous tribes traveled to meet him, and his vision of unity and hope resonated across the Great Plains. Letters were sent, and leaders traveled far and wide to share the prophecy and teach the ceremonial dance, which involved participants holding hands and moving in a rhythmic circle, guided by chants and the beat of sacred songs. The dancers wore ghost shirts, garments adorned with eagle feathers, horns, and other tribal symbols that were believed to provide spiritual protection, even against bullets. During the ceremonies, it was not uncommon for participants to fall into trances, which they interpreted as direct spiritual communication. The ghost dance served as a form of hope and resistance for tribes facing increasing pressure from U.S. government policies, which sought to assimilate Native Americans and seize their lands. By the late 19th century, Native American tribes across the Great Plains were struggling with the impacts of forced relocations, broken treaties, and dwindling resources. The movement offered a spiritual means of coping with these hardships, allowing tribes to reclaim a sense of agency and cultural pride through the power of collective belief and ritual. As the ghost dance spread to the Lakota Sioux, tensions began to rise. In October 1890, Kicking Bear, a Lakota leader, visited Sitting Bull at Standing Rock and shared Vovoka's vision. He described a prophecy that foretold of the land being renewed the following spring, covered with sweet grass and water, and the return of buffalo and wild horses. All who practiced the ghost dance would be taken up into the air and spared during this transformation, then returned along with the spirits of their ancestors. The Bureau of Indian Affairs grew increasingly alarmed at the growing movement, interpreting it as a threat to their authority, particularly as the Lakota began making ghost shirts and speaking openly of their hopes for liberation. In December 1890, the Baya ordered Sitting Bull's arrest to suppress the ghost dance. A violent confrontation ensued, resulting in Sitting Bull's death, along with several tribal police officers. The U.S. government subsequently deployed the army to disarm the Lakota, leading to the infamous Wounded Knee Massacre on December 29, 1890. During this tragic event, 457 U.S. soldiers opened fire on the Lakota, killing over 100 Native Americans, including women and children, while 25 soldiers also lost their lives. The massacre marked the peak and swift decline of the ghost dance movement. Disillusioned by the failure of their ghost shirts to provide protection and the unfulfilled promises of resurrection, many followers abandoned the dance. The Wounded Knee Massacre was a devastating blow to the Native American resistance and became a symbol of the brutal suppression faced by Indigenous peoples in the United States. The mass killing at Wounded Knee represented not only the physical destruction of the Lakota people, but also a symbolic attempt to crush their spiritual resilience. The massacre signaled the end of an era of armed resistance for Native Americans and further entrenched the policies of assimilation enforced by the U.S. government. Despite the repression, the ghost dance continued to influence Native American communities. Between 1891 and 1892, the movement spread to tribes such as the Odo-Missouri, Iowa, Osage, and Quapaw, who adapted the dance and its teachings to fit their own cultural traditions. Even as enthusiasm for the ghost dance waned in some areas, it continued uninterrupted in Oklahoma until at least 1914. Commissioner of Indian Affairs Thomas J. Morgan visited the Oklahoma Territory and, seeing no immediate threat, did not take steps to prohibit the practice. The movement's influence also echoed in other Native spiritual practices, like the Sun Dance, Bear Dance, Peyote religion, and the Native American Church, all of which carried forward elements of renewal and hope for a better future. The ghost dance also served as a unifying force, bringing together tribes that had previously been at odds. The movement created opportunities for intercultural exchange, where tribes shared not only the ceremonial dance, but also their stories, songs, and cultural knowledge. This unity was a testament to the collective struggle against the erasure of Native identities. The ghost dance became a medium through which different tribes found common ground and solidarity in the face of colonial oppression. The ghost dance movement remains a significant symbol for Native Americans today, embodying resilience, cultural revival, and the struggle to preserve heritage amidst overwhelming adversity. It speaks to a poignant chapter in history where spirituality became a powerful response to oppression and loss. The legacy of the ghost dance continues to inspire efforts to honor and sustain Native traditions in the face of ongoing challenges. In modern times, the ghost dance is remembered not only as a historical event, but also as a spiritual testament to the enduring strength of Native American culture. The symbolism of renewal, hope, and unity found in the ghost dance continues to resonate, reminding us of the ongoing fight for Indigenous rights, cultural preservation, and recognition of the rich spiritual heritage that has shaped Native American identity. The ghost dance is also reflected in contemporary Native American activism and cultural movements. Many Indigenous groups today continue to advocate for their rights, land, and cultural heritage, drawing inspiration from the legacy of the ghost dance. The movement has been referenced in art, literature, and film as a symbol of resistance and the unbroken spirit of Native peoples. The resilience shown by those who participated in the ghost dance serves as a reminder of the importance of cultural survival, even in the face of systemic efforts to erase Indigenous identities. It is a story of hope that continues to inspire new generations to reclaim their history, culture, and spiritual practices. Furthermore, the cultural and social aspects of the ghost dance movement are significant when examining its long-term impact on Native American identity. The rituals of the ghost dance connected participants with their ancestors, bridging the temporal divide between past and present. It fostered a sense of unity not only within individual tribes, but also between different tribes who shared the same collective goals of cultural survival and spiritual renewal. It was through these shared experiences that Native Americans strengthened their resolve to resist assimilation policies and maintain their distinct cultural heritage. The dance itself was more than just a ritual. It was a symbolic and physical manifestation of their yearning for a return to the old ways, free from oppression and interference. Each movement, each step in the ghost dance, held profound spiritual significance, symbolizing rebirth, purification, and the hope for a restored world where Native people could live in harmony, both among themselves and with nature. The ghost shirts worn during these ceremonies were seen as sacred garments, and the act of wearing them was a profound statement of identity and resistance against the encroaching forces of colonialism. The ghost dance movement also highlighted the adaptability of Native American spirituality. Faced with immense pressure and changing circumstances, Native leaders like Wovoka drew from a rich tapestry of spiritual traditions, blending old beliefs with new visions to create a movement that spoke to the immediate needs of their people. The references to Christian figures like Jesus in Wovoka's teachings showed how Native spirituality could incorporate and reinterpret external influences to strengthen its message and broaden its appeal, thereby creating a bridge between traditional Native beliefs and the new realities they faced. Even in the face of the tragic end at Wounded Knee, the movement left a lasting legacy. The massacre was a catalyst for change, forcing a re-examination of U.S. policies toward Native Americans and eventually leading to shifts in the approach toward Indigenous rights and self-determination. It also sparked an era of cultural revitalization, where Native American communities began to more actively resist assimilation efforts, resulting in a resurgence of traditional practices, languages, and ceremonies that continues to this day. The cultural revival witnessed in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, including the establishment of cultural centers, the teaching of indigenous languages, and the celebration of traditional ceremonies, can all trace a part of their inspiration to the resilience shown during the ghost dance movement. The movement provided a framework for understanding that spirituality, culture, and identity are interconnected, and that even in the face of great adversity, these aspects can be a source of strength and resilience. Moreover, the ghost dance has taken on a symbolic role in modern discussions about Native American sovereignty and rights. Its legacy is invoked by activists fighting against environmental destruction, land rights violations, and systemic injustices. The dance itself, a form of prayer and hope for renewal, continues to be a poignant metaphor for the struggle of Native peoples against historical and ongoing injustices. The image of Native Americans gathered in a circle, dancing for their future, resonates as an enduring symbol of unity and the fight for a life imbued with dignity, respect, and connection to their sacred lands. Today, the ghost dance serves as both a historical reminder of the price paid by Indigenous communities and a powerful symbol of their enduring spirit. It is commemorated in ceremonies, educational programs, and memorials that ensure the stories of those who danced and those who were lost at Wounded Knee are not forgotten. It is also a reminder of the need to confront the injustices of the past, recognize the rights of Native American nations, and celebrate their cultural contributions to the broader fabric of American society. In remembering the ghost dance, we are reminded of the power of faith, unity, and the unyielding desire for justice, which continues to inspire generations of Native Americans in their journey to reclaim their heritage and future.